Hey, welcome back everybody to Man Meets Garage. My name is Larry, and on this episode we are talking about my Tesla Model S. This is a salvage title. I bought this car in the auction. I'm going to share with you guys my experience, what I've learned from updates, service, supercharging, charging in general. I just have a ton of questions about it. I've had a lot of people interested about it because they want to purchase one from an auction or purchase one from someone else. So stay tuned. I will answer all these questions. Alright, so before I start answering all my questions, just want to apologize in advance. There's going to be a lot of talking going on. I know some people don't like when there's people just rambling, talking, but all the questions that I have are pretty important if you're interested in ever purchasing a salvage Tesla Model 3, Model X, Model S. So my experience, I purchased this car in late of 2015. This car was built in 2014 of December. I bought it at an auction which is called Copart. There's a few auctions, Copart.com. There's another one called Insurance Auto Auction Incorporated.com, which is IAAI. Or if you guys are interested just to want to buy a Tesla from someone that's already fixed it, then you guys will know what to expect when you guys are going to be purchasing this car. So when I bought my car, the car basically came, it was probably sitting a long time at the auction and the battery wasn't charged. And I don't know if you guys know or not, but when a Tesla gets into an accident, Tesla basically disables the vehicle. If the airbags, especially if the airbags actually they pop or anything happens with the airbags, they blow up, they basically Tesla disables the vehicle. So mine actually did not have any deployed airbags, which I was kind of lucky, but the car was discharged because of standing on the auction. So when I got it, it was nice that I could actually trailer the vehicle to a supercharge station. So what I actually had to do is load the vehicle on the trailer, take it to a supercharge station, and I was able to charge the vehicle because the vehicle is technically not registered as salvage yet. Once I register the vehicles and it becomes salvage, Tesla will disable my vehicle from any supercharge station because they don't want to have any I mean, everything's possible. This car, let's say if it was flooded or any other issues, you can start a fire or anything at the supercharge station because of the amount of power that you're actually charging. So lucky for me, my airbags weren't deployed, so I was able to put it on the trailer, take it over to a supercharge station. It was kind of interesting because all the other Tesla owners that were there, they were looking at this Tesla that was wrecked. But I didn't care about it, and some of the guys actually gave me a thumbs up for actually doing something like this with a Tesla. So I got it charged, took it home, and started hooking everything up, making sure all my electronics were good, what was working, what was not. And I'm going to share with you guys some of my photos when I picked up that car, what was actually messed up. So you guys can see in this photo right here, it was right rear quarter panel damage and left side kind of a dog leg by the window. I had it done at one of my shops here in Sacramento, California. I had a guy that actually, well, there's plenty of people that actually, not plenty, but there's some people that work with aluminum. As you guys know, this car is different from versus any other car. It's kind of hard to work with this metal here, aluminum. You just need a specialist to do this. So I had found a guy that actually worked on my car. He cut most of the parts out, and basically it was kind of expensive. This car in general, if you tell anybody that's a Tesla and you want them to work on it, it's going to be expensive. So what I actually had to do to find my parts, in 2015 there's not many Teslas, as you guys know. Parts were kind of really hard to find, and Tesla wouldn't really sell you any parts. So my parts came from, I actually had to drive with my wife to Canada. Yes, you guys heard that right, to Canada to pick up my parts. I had a great deal for my quarter panel, my doors, my moldings, just all my parts in general. Picked them up pretty well. Got over to this guy. He installed everything. had a special welding guy come out to weld the aluminum, and then the bodywork started. The bodywork was another issue because not a lot of people do bodywork on aluminum vehicles because they're a special type of bondo and just everything in general. So that was another expensive little fix, expensive paint job. So in the end, the car for me, I'm not going to share my value, what it came out to. That's kind of my own thing. But basically what the vehicle's initial purchase price was, I pretty much paid a third for what the vehicle was worth at that time. And most of the guys that I talk to these days that have actually buying salvage Teslas, they are telling me it's a similar price of what the vehicles are actually coming out to. So after the whole car was done, everything was fixed, came the registration. I didn't know this at that time when I went to register the vehicle. Based on the purchase price you purchase your vehicle at a salvage auction or for somebody else, there's a fee. That's just in California. There's an electric fee. It's a percentage that you have to pay for the vehicle. So when I was paying for my registration, my taxes, I had another, I think it was $800 charge for having an electric vehicle for what my purchase price was. Then once I figured all that out, I thought, this is my thought, because when I purchased that car, I didn't know that my supercharger was going to be not working. They basically disconnected it because it was a salvage vehicle. I took my car to Fresno to visit my brother. I go to the supercharge station, plug it in, and I have no charge. It says your supercharger has been disabled, and I'm like, oh boy, this is not great. Thank goodness I had my charger with me, my cord, and so I actually plugged that in at my brother's house, and I was able to charge. But that's the other thing I actually had to do. When my car was purchased from the auction, it didn't come with any cords, so I had no charging cords. I had to purchase everything on eBay. I tried to buy them at Tesla. Tesla basically said no. They wanted my VIN number, and they were like, no, your car is salvage, we're not going to sell you this. So I'm like, okay, forget about it. I purchased everything on eBay. Superchargers, as you guys know, they're going to be disabled. None of the superchargers are going to work. You're going to be able to charge at home with your connector at home, whatever you have, basically your 240 off the wall, which is fine, which is great. For me, I'm using the car more around town here, but that is going to be disabled. Another thing, service. Pretty much Tesla, you're banned from any kind of service, you're banned from any updates, you're banned pretty much from anything until you get the car inspected. I actually took the car over to one of the Tesla dealerships here in Sacramento, and I started talking to them about my car's salvage, and they kind of wanted to charge me a pretty hefty price. They first initially said $3,500 just for a Tesla inspection. They want to inspect the vehicle, make sure it's roadworthy. After that, I would have to take the car to another auto body shop that is Tesla certified and have another inspection, which that's going to cost me another $3,500. So in total, they wanted $7,000 just to have an inspection done by Tesla and to recertify you, for you to have the supercharger, the updates, everything in general. And I understand Tesla's kind of a point that, hey, we want to make sure our cars are roadworthy, not just some Joe Schmo just, you know, getting the cars done, building them, and just selling them. So I understand what they're trying to do is liability for them. So my car, I had the Autopilot feature in 2014, late 2014. They were the first 300 Tesla Model S's that actually came with Autopilot. I was lucky enough for my car to have it. It is not enabled right now because of the whole salvage issue, but I do have it. Hopefully later on, sometime down the road, Tesla will finally open up its doors and let us, you know, maybe drop the price down to get us updates, service, Autopilot, superchargers. But until now, until then, I basically just have to drive the car, which is totally fine. I'm not really with the Autopilot feature. It's nice, but for right now, I'll just have that. Alright, so one question was what to look at an auto auction when you're purchasing a Tesla Model 3, Model X, Model S. So the big thing about it is, like I told you guys about my Tesla, is airbags. Airbags, once they're blown, deployed, Tesla pretty much shuts down your vehicle. Your Tesla vehicle is basically disabled until you actually get your airbags plugged in, hooked up, you have receipts for them, and then they will actually enable your vehicle to drive, but you won't still have any access to the updates or anything else. So your vehicle will be disabled if your airbags are deployed. Flooding. As you guys know, flooding with Teslas in general, I know there's a guy on YouTube, I saw he bought a flooded car. It's a pain in the butt. The amount of electronics that Tesla has in general, you guys know everything's electric. It's a lot to work with. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of computers, sensors, everything in general. It's painful. So if you guys want to deal with that, that's fine, but you guys might purchase yourself another parts car, a Tesla, that you guys can work off of it, you know, the battery, any electronics, everything like that, but it's just going to be a lot of work. Another thing is undercarriage. If you're ever buying your car at an auction that has been undercarriage damage, you guys always have to be careful. You guys know that the battery, it sits right underneath. So if you have any damage to a battery, batteries are ranging right now. I was kind of just checking out the market at the salvage yards from about 10,000 to about 25,000, depends on what type of battery you need, a 70, 85, 90, 100. So undercarriage damage, you would really have to actually see the vehicle before you purchase it at the auto auction. So if you have a capability of actually seeing the car, all right, cool. If the battery's nice, it's not damaged. If it's more suspension, all right, cool. Suspension parts are pretty easy. I have a video that you guys can actually see what I was working on my suspension, changing out the arms. It's nothing really hard to work. All right. Another thing about auctions is forklifts. When I was buying my car, you're not allowed to, the auction, most of the times you guys, well, if you guys don't know, they'll lift the car up with a forklift. If it's damaged, they'll lift it up, set it on a trailer or wherever. That's how they basically transfer most of the cars. With the Tesla, they're not doing that. When I purchased mine back in the days, I guess I was kind of like a guinea pig, because a lot of Tesla owners that were buying them from a salvage yard, they were trying to figure out how to get the car out, because their battery was dead. They couldn't charge it. The auction said, hey, we're not going to forklift your car because there's a battery underneath. We don't want to put any pressure and be liable for that. So that was kind of another issue. Most of the times I would actually tell the guys, ask if the auction would allow you to drive your trailer in there and then put it into towing mode, and then basically winch your Tesla onto the trailer. That's the only way. So forklifts is a big no. You want to make sure they're actually not doing any damage to your undercarriage with the forklift, because your battery is right underneath there. Alright, so if you do decide to buy your car from an auction, prices for, I think, 70Ds, 85s, P85, 14, 15s, you're looking about, I was talking to a few guys, about ranging from $20,000 to $30,000. That's just buying it from the auction. Parts, the parts are, there's more and more Teslas that are getting damaged, so those parts are, they're everywhere now. Sheet metal parts, you can purchase those. Those are actually going for pretty cheap. Bumpers, anything in general that is the exterior, you can buy those actually pretty cheap. What comes down to pretty expensive is your sensors, your computers, your battery, anything in general interior wise, your screen. Those parts, they hold their value pretty well. So if you're gonna find yourself a Tesla that's been stripped interior, or it's been stolen, the screens, the computers, everything in general is gonna be pretty expensive. So you gotta watch out what you purchase yourself. If you're gonna purchase anything and the damage in the front of your vehicle, there's a lot of sensors, a lot of computers hooked up here. Pretty easy to work here, because you just unbolt your parts and, you know, bolt on new ones, get it painted. Pretty easy to fix. I kind of avoided that. I was trying to get more of a rear end damage. I just don't want to, like my front end is pretty clean. My rear end, just my quarter panel. I got the car, I didn't want any airbags deployed, so I kind of stuck with something more of a rear damage, so I had a quarter panel changed out, which was a little bit more issues, but I got it done. It wasn't too hard, wasn't too bad. Alright, so at the end of the day, buying a car from the auction, in my opinion, it's worth it. You know, you might have to deal with a little bit of a headache. It's not really a headache, I would call it, but you're going to save yourself a lot more money. You know, sheet metal parts and the exterior parts are pretty cheap right now these days. There's more and more cars out there. What's expensive is all the sensors, the electrical, the computers, the battery, any of the interior parts. That's still holding its value pretty well and high up there. But if you want to purchase yourself a car that's ready to go at Salvage, I want to make sure you know what to expect, what you're going to get. So hopefully this video will help you guys out. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope it helps you out. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, Man Meets Garage, I'm doing a lot of work. I have this Porsche sitting right next to me here. I have a Lincoln Continental I'll still be working on, my Land Cruiser. I'll probably be doing some more stuff with my Tesla. Check out my other videos that I have my Tesla. Please subscribe and like. Have a good one.